So we already know that the Trump tariffs are already there on the market, and we are seeing a lot of interesting things in the terms of the technology world, that how the things are moving and how the big companies that are there in the market, they are evolving with these new tariffs, and what are the new prices that we will see in the terms of the tech industry. But there is something that I just want to discuss in this video, and there is just one message that would be at the end of this video. Now again, I am not an economist, and honestly I just do not know that how does this economy work and how would tariff make differences in the day-to-day life. But what I really know is that I do belong to a tech industry, and at least I work in an IT job, and I know that my job could be one thing that might be impacted just because of this tariff thing that is already there in the market. I have made a long script for this video. I might or might not follow this script, but again, because I am not an economist, I just do not know how the number works. But all I know is that whenever there is a new product in the industry, maybe it is a new iPhone, it is just not Apple working on that very same product. It is multiple people in the supply chain who might be working together to give you one product, and all the manufacturing is just not done in a single country. In fact, might be the batteries are coming out of one plant in China, or maybe some other parts, maybe the CNC work is being done in Brazil, or maybe the assembly is done in China and India and some other parts of the country. And I'm just talking about one single product, that is iPhone in this case. But what if it was something like a big Ford truck that is again fully loaded with the technology? Again, just to make a single Ford product, it might be taking technology from 26 different countries before it is assembled in a single factory. It might be the one that is in your region, and that is something that is very difficult to just see that how the tariffs are being calculated. And all as the number says is that if there is a product that is as simple as just as the latest iPhone, and I'm just talking about the iPhone 16 over here, the base cost of this product in the US market right now is about $799 US. And if you just get the increase in the terms of the tariffs, and what you see is about 43% of the increase in the tariffs for Apple over here, you might see the price to be bumped at around $1142 US, and that is just a lot of price for that iPhone. But if it is something like the latest iPhone 16 Pro Max, that is the highest tier, and the one that costs just about $1600 US, it might cost around $2300 US, and that is just talking about a very small product from a company that does sell millions of iPhones around the globe, and that is just not a good thing in my opinion. And again, if you start to manufacture these iPhones in the US market itself, or maybe if you want it to be manufactured in somewhere like Canada or somewhere that is very near to the US market, it is not again the best strategy. Maybe it is a win-win for the US market, but the thing is that the cost of these iPhones would never remain the same with these tariffs. And if these iPhones are really being manufactured in the US market, because the cost of the labor in the US market is just very much different than being manufactured in India or maybe China or maybe even Brazil. I think so it is not very costly as in comparison to making an iPhone completely in the North American market, at least in America and in Canada or even in Mexico. And that is a very surprise move. And even again, if US has got the monopoly, the thing is that the markets like India, when these products are being imported, there might be a replication of the tariff that what is being imported by the US market, and that is again something that will bring up the prices of this iPhone to be at an even higher mark in the Indian markets. And that is one thing that is again, the people are the one that who are suffering with all these tariffs in the market. And that is just one single example that I'm talking about in this video about the iPhones, but there are some other examples as well, just like the Nvidia, and it is again one of the biggest tech giants in the world, and they're also getting a tariff of about 32%. Now again, this tariff is not on the semiconductor industry, so any chip that is manufactured, they might not really be impacted by 32% of the tariff. But what about the Nintendo Switch? That is one product that makes use of this Nvidia chip. Now the pricing of the Nintendo Switch 2, as it is again in the pre-order phase, it is about $450 US. The company has pushed back the release date, or at least the pre-release date of the product, and that is just because of the increased tariffs, and it could just impact the cost of the device that was already a very expensive device in comparison to what you already had on the Nintendo Switch 1. And that is one thing again that just worries me, that because of just this increase in tariff, it is just not that these companies are suffering, but they just have either one of the option, that is to just carry over the cost to the consumer, and that is not the best practice, because if you are charging about 2300 US dollar for an iPhone, again no one is going to buy that iPhone, and you might see a big slump in the tech industry, just like the companies like Apple, DJI, Microsoft, Google. And this is just not a good thing, because when you see a lot of increase in the pricing, the other way around is just to do a lot of cut offs. And what it means is that you just need to cut off a lot of labor that is working for you in this industry, and that means a lot of layoffs. And also at the same time, it also means that instead of going forward and just making a new technology, we are just getting one step back. And what is happening is that all the innovation that is being booming, it just goes one step back as well, and that is just what I do not want to see in this industry. Now Apple is one great example over here, because this is one company that is very important for the tech industry, but already it is very much lacking in the terms of the AI industry. It is already very hard for this company to really compete against Google and all the other major brands in the market. And if you just include 43% of tariffs on this company, it is just a big struggle, because now you might need to lay off a lot of people from this company just to absorb for a lot of cost that is being increased. And instead of giving to the consumer about 43% of the increase in the terms of the hike in the price, just give something like 17%. But at the same time, the amount of development that was happening in the Apple in this industry was not the same as the before. So again, I think so it is just a concurrent effect, and it is just a chain, that if we just put tariff on one of the supply chain, it just goes around to everything else. And what will happen in the end is that a lot of people would lose job, the development would go one step behind, as I just mentioned. And what I just want to share over here in this video is that these tariffs are not good, and just because of this market, I just do not want you to buy anything in this industry right now, at least in the technology world, because you just do not know that you are doing one job right now, or maybe I am just doing one job right now, and the other moment I might just not have any kind of job in this tech industry, at least in the Canadian market. And that is just one thing that just scares me off, just because of all this increase in the terms of the taxes. All I really want is to share a message that instead of just spending a lot of money on technology right now, you should just save this money, look for the market which is much more stable, where the products are very well priced, just as it is right now in the market. And maybe these new companies, or the companies, the big tech giants, they might absorb a few of the costs without just laying off a lot of people. And when the market is stable, you might be able to make the purchases. And again, you just need to see first that if you just have got enough money in the market, because I have seen a lot of youngsters that who just want to buy the latest iPhone or any other tech product just for the show off, rather than just having a real usage out of that product. And that is just again the message that I wanted to share in this video. Just do not spend a lot of money, wait for the right time before making any kind of new tech purchase, because again, in the coming days, any product that you buy in the market, it might be much more expensive. And even if you just want to buy a phone on contract, maybe from Virgin Mobile or some carrier around the Canadian market as what I am in right now, the prices would not be same, at least not for the phone contracts, because these phones are going to be really expensive in the coming time. And that would be the same thing for almost every tech that you see in the market in the coming days. And well, that was all that what I wanted to share in this video. Just save your money, and just do not spend a lot of money on technology, and save for the bad times if they come around you. That was all about this video. My name is Anshul. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.